Guys, welcome back to another video, and today I'll be telling you 10 mistakes Rivals players always make. So without further ado, let's start the video. Let's get into it. Guys, a big mistake for number one is people are still using the sniper. Yes, it can one-shot in a headshot like it does there, but its hitbox has been nerfed horribly. So when you shoot it like there, see, it will not headshot them, even though it's right next to their head. It is a very bad hitbox, so definitely not recommend using that. And a second mistake people do is that when using the knife, they instead just do this. But what you're actually supposed to do, you're supposed to slide, turn around, and backstab instantly. It should go out a bit like that. And then you should be able to backstab people a lot easier, like I did there. Another big mistake I see players do in number 3 is that instead of using like a burst rifle, revolver, and scythe deck, they instead use knife decks, which isn't that good to pair with an actual shooting weapon. Like if you're maining burst rifle or something, don't go knife as an additional damage melee. Just go all in on the weapon you're good at and main. So like, see, if I scythe like this, it's a lot harder for your opponents to hit you and you can shoot a lot easier. And another mistake I see players doing in number 4 is like sort of spamming their double jump weapons, like using them all at once. Because like, it's a lot less effective when you just sort of spam the double jump weapons, because you don't really get as much double jump. But if you do this, you get a lot more worth, see? And it gives you a better opportunity to backstab. Like, if you're not really going to move around that much and you're in like a close range area, then you can like sort of spam the double jump. But if you're trying to get it for movement more, then you should probably not spam it like this. You want to do this instead. So it helps you reach your opponents more easy and gives you a better opportunity to kill them. And also, for all you guys who say I only fight low-level players, what are you going to say about it now? This guy's level 101. Another mistake I also see people doing is like going up the sledge when they're facing a knife player. Because for a knife player, it's very easy to like go from mid-range and then backstab people at that range as well. Like it's very easy, like if you go up on the sledge and like you're shooting people, or like you go up the sledge, the knife player will probably already be there, so they can just run towards you and backstab you. See, like that. That's a mistake that this player did against me. Like when you're facing a knife player, never run up these ledges. And also, another mistake I see players doing is like full committing. Like once you fight somebody and then like you miss a backstab or something, or you miss a shot, you should try to like move away, regroup, or like reload or something to make sure that you're like prepared for the next time you go in. Because if you just charge in again, it probably won't work as well, because they'll know that you're doing it. So it's best that if you fail an attempt, that you just leave and go again. And another mistake I see with players is like when they're about to like fight, instead of like using knife in close range, they use like daggers and try to run away, which isn't that good because they can easily catch up to you. It's a lot harder to run from an opponent using knife than to catch up to an opponent using knife. Like it's much easier to just be able to backstab like that, see? So another thing I see about players when they're using knife decks, instead of fully charging up their bow, they just start spamming it, which isn't that good because you could just use the daggers instead to spam. And the bows have an outrageous hitbox if you haven't noticed, because if you see this, it's very easy to hit even when you're aiming far away, see? So it makes it much easier. And I just got backstabbed. Another mistake I see people using is not using the flare gun, since it has insane tick damage. Because like even when they stay in it for just like 2 seconds, it does like 50 damage, as you can see. And also it does no damage to you since they buffed it. And also You should also probably use the paintball gun as well, since it got insanely buffed, which I'm sure you probably already know, but it's just a bit of an extra. Also, what I see a lot of players not doing is not trying to get different knife skins and sticking with the regular knife, which isn't that good because different knife skins actually do have different hitboxes and hit ranges and speeds. So, like the Karambit and the Balisong are much better than like the other knife skins, which is why you should probably use them if you want to fight somebody, with like the hitbox different and the backstab range. Also, another big thing I see players doing that's a giant mistake is like you're always training before a competitive match. Like you should never train before a competitive match because like when you train in the shooting range, it's a lot different than what the map is actually going to be. So you're actually training for the wrong thing than you should. So instead of like training in the shooting range and then playing, it'll make you a lot worse than actually good. And also, I see a lot of players like trying really hard in games and getting very nervous. I mean, the best thing to do in those situations is just try to stay calm. Because like you need to keep a cool head to be able to think and play properly. Otherwise you might make some wrong calls. And anyways, that's it for today's video. If you enjoyed, and make sure to subscribe and turn notifications on so you don't miss out on any other Rivals tips I'll make in the future. And make sure to like, comment and subscribe if any of these tips helped you. And make sure to comment if I missed any or if I should make more. It really helps with the feedback. And that's the end of the video. See you guys next time.